Hi, and welcome to the Money Moves Studio, where we aim to educate, inform, and entertain. Today, we're going to chat about retirement and what it means to retire with ease. But before we jump in, Paul, what are we drinking?
Good morning, Ingrid. Reporting from the beautiful Cape Town this morning. What are we drinking? We're drinking coffee. No milk, no sugar, black as is, but hopefully the markets are green today.
So, Paul, retirement. When there's a conversation about retirement, the word financial freedom gets thrown around. What does that even mean?
Some people say financial freedom means something different for everyone. For you, it can mean you're finally out of the house. For some people, it's getting rid of the debt. Finally, they're debt free. But truly, financial freedom means only one thing, and that means you can do what you want, when you want, and how you want. In other words, if you want to work, you do it because you want to, not because you have to. So, what does this actually mean in money terms? It means that your investments that you build up generates enough income to cover your monthly expenses. So, I'll say that one more time. Your investments that you build up generates enough income to cover your monthly expenses. In other words, if you spend 30,000 Rand a month, you need to build up assets that cover the 30,000 Rand a month. So you don't need to go to work. You can work if you want to, but you don't have to.
How much should I then have when I retire in order to live off of 30,000 Rand that my assets generate for me?
Yeah, so the basic calculation, Ingrid, is the following. You take your monthly expenses, in this case 30,000 Rand, you multiply it by 12 to get to a yearly expenses value, and then you multiply that by between 20 and 25. That's more or less your range. So in this example, 30,000 times 12, that's 360. Multiply that by 2025, that gets you to around 7.2 to 9 million. So in other words, if you have built up assets of 7.2 to 9 million, those assets will every single month provide you with an income of 30,000 Rand to pay for your living expenses. You don't need to do anything. Maybe another example, if you spend maybe 50,000 Rand a month, so how much assets do you need? You take the 50, multiply by 12, that's 600,000 Rand, and you multiply that by 20 to 25. That's around 12 to 15 million Rand.
Okay, so you've been giving me an idea of how much my assets should be worth, but what are these assets and how do they actually work for you?
Yes, so when you go to your work, Ingrid, you work for money. It doesn't matter if you love your job, you hate your job, you work with cool people, you work with toxic people, you earn a lot of money, you don't earn a lot of money, irrelevant. The point is, when you go to your job, you work for money. But the beautiful thing about investments is your money actually works for you. You do nothing. Your money is a beautiful employee working 24/7, 365 around the clock. So what are the options? What can we invest in? When you go to a restaurant, there's normally a menu. Now, investing is exactly the same, and there are about 6 main menu items. I'll quickly go through them and how they pay you, how they work for you. Number one, we've got cash, money in the bank, and that generates, of course, interest, about 6% a year, give or take. Next one is bonds. Bonds is when you lend money to an institution or a government, and they pay you interest on that. Mainly interest. There's also a capital gain element, bit more technical, but basically interest. The third one is property. We all love property. Huisie's here. Property is one of the best forms of passive income because there's tenants in there and they pay you to live there in your place. But you also get capital gain element, the property going up in value, especially if you bought in the right place. Cape Town, you know what I mean. Then the fourth one, commodities like gold, silver, agriculture like wheat or corn. You also get energy like oil and gas. Commodities only pay capital gain. Gold doesn't make more gold. There's no passive income. It's just the value of the asset going up over time. Next, we've got stocks, our favorite. Stocks is the best liquid asset historically in the world. Two types of income. The first one is dividends, when you have a share in the profit of the company. And the second one is capital gain, of course, just the value of the stock going up over time. And lastly, the new kid on the block, which is Bitcoin or crypto in general. And there is also ways to make passive income, but by far the majority of value in crypto at this stage, at least, is capital gain. The value of your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or your Cardano going up over time. And that is your assets, Ingrid, working for you.
Listening to your list of assets now, in my mind, I did see a menu as if I'm sitting at my favorite restaurant, and I actually don't know what I want to choose from this menu. So how do I choose correctly? And are there any other things that I should keep in mind in order to have this asset grow to about 9 million if I want to make 30,000 Rand a month when I retire?
Yes, I mean, so it's called your portfolio. Your combination of the different assets, the 6 different line items, that makes your personal portfolio. And of course, Ingrid, you're not going to invest the same as your grandma. Everyone's portfolio looks a little bit different, tailored to their profile, who they are, what they believe in, how old they are, how much money they have, do they have debt, do they have dependents. All of these variables you need to take into account to choose your asset and create your portfolio. But just important to note, Ingrid, before you start investing, number one is you have to have the basic covers / insurance in place. We all hate insurance. It's a grudge purchase, but there are certain foundational insurances that you have to have in place. Car insurance, medical aid, and income protector. We'll make another episode specifically on that, but this is the most important. Secondly, if you have expensive debt, I'm talking credit cards, I'm talking personal loans. Why? Because the interest on these credits are typically more than the money we make in the stock market. So in other words, you're going down more than what you're going up. And also it's stressful. So get rid of that. Home loan is fine, but credit card, personal loan, out the door. And then you start investing.
Paul, my coffee is done for today. Viewers, we'll see you in the next episode. And if you have any questions, we'd love to chat. Link in the description. Bye.